The tale of July 19th, 2020, in North Brunswick, New Jersey, unfolds not just as a story of violence, but as a gripping narrative of the unseen dangers lurking behind the most protected doors. On that day, the calm of a suburban neighborhood was shattered by an unassuming figure posing as a courier at the doorstep of Federal Judge Esther Salas. Den Hollander, an attorney staunchly advocating for men's rights, harbored a grudge against a judicial system he perceived as unfairly favoring women. Embroiled in a legal dispute with Judge Salas over a gender-specific draft law, Hollander's frustration spilled over the legal battleground into a dark, personal vendetta. What drove Hollander to transform his legal grievances into a terrifying reality? How did one man's disillusionment with the justice system lead to such a drastic and tragic course of action? These questions linger, adding layers of mystery and intrigue to a story that delves into the depths of vengeance and the quest for justice, leaving us pondering the delicate balance between law and personal retribution. Join us as we peel back the intricate layers of this tragic saga, unveiling a story riddled with twists and turns that will leave you questioning the very fabric of justice and morality. The backstory on Den Hollander. Den Hollander was a name known for his vehement anti-feminism, infamous for launching unsuccessful lawsuits against ladies' night promotions at bars and nightclubs. He had also sued Columbia University for offering women's studies courses, leaving a trail of contentious legal battles. In a tragic twist of fate, his hostility towards women had brought him before Judge Salas. Den Hollander's lawsuit challenging the U.S. military's male-only draft registration led him to the courtroom of Judge Esther Salas. The lawsuit, initiated in 2015, represented a New Jersey teenager who argued that she faced discrimination because, as a woman, she couldn't register under the selective service system. Den Hollander, a self-described anti-feminist lawyer, was deeply committed to this cause, believing it highlighted gender inequities in the draft system. In 2015, Den Hollander was admitted by Judge Salas to provide legal guidance in the pending lawsuit, although he was not admitted to practice law in New Jersey. He was admitted pro hac vice, a legal tactic allowing outside counsel to assist in a case. Den Hollander took a significant role in the research and writing for this lawsuit. Judge Salas allowed the case to proceed in March 2019, despite the Department of Justice filing multiple motions to dismiss it. The lawsuit contended that a then 17-year-old resident of Morris County, New Jersey, was being discriminated against as she could not register for the U.S. military draft at age 18, unlike her male counterparts. The judge's prudent decision to postpone the ruling on his case following a government request had only fueled his anger. Den Hollander frequently put his thoughts on paper, and his writings and rants were quite disturbing. He expressed deep-seated hatred towards women, often employing racist language to denigrate Judge Salas. In his disturbing manifesto, he revealed his personal grievances and identified as a men's rights activist. However, even within the men's rights movement, he found himself shunned, and not merely shunned by his peers. He had recently been implicated in the shooting death of men's rights lawyer Mark Angelucci in Crestline, California, just weeks prior to the incident at the judge's home. Hollander's very recent involvement in the similar crime adds a complex and disturbing layer to his story. The shooting of Angelucci, which occurred in a seemingly peaceful community, sent shockwaves through the legal and men's rights advocacy circles. Hollander's anger towards Mark Angelucci originated from a deep sense of rivalry and perceived encroachment on his professional territory. This animosity was primarily due to Angelucci's involvement in a lawsuit related to the selective service system, a matter that Hollander considered his exclusive domain in the men's rights movement. Hollander's fury intensified when the National Coalition for Men, along with Angelucci, pursued this legal issue, which he saw as an infringement on his area of advocacy. Compounding these tensions, Hollander had been expelled from the NCFM in 2015 after a confrontation with its president, Harry Crouch. This expulsion likely exacerbated Hollander's resentment towards Angelucci, culminating in a personal vendetta marked by extreme hostility. Angelucci was a well-respected figure in the field, known for his commitment to addressing issues facing men, particularly in the legal arena. His untimely death raised numerous questions about the motive and the identity of the perpetrator. Investigators piecing together the sequence of events found that the method used in Angelucci's murder bore striking similarities to the attack on Judge Salas's family. This revelation led to an intense investigation, linking Hollander to both crimes. The FBI discovered that the same weapon was used in both incidents, firmly establishing Hollander's involvement in the California murder. Hollander's presence in California at the time of Angelucci's shooting further solidified the connection. Angelucci's murder, therefore, was not just a standalone crime, but a precursor to a pattern of violence that would culminate in the tragic event at Judge Salas's home. The life of Judge Esther Salas. Judge Esther Salas, born on December 29, 1968, in Monterey Park, California, has a diverse cultural background, being the daughter of a Cuban mother and a Jewish-Mexican father. Her early life was marked by relocation at the age of 5 with her mother and siblings to Union City, New Jersey. During her childhood, Salas faced challenges such as translating for her non-English-speaking mother at the welfare office, which played a significant role in shaping her career path towards law and justice. Salas's academic journey was notable. She graduated from Rutgers in 1991 and then completed her Juris Doctor from Rutgers University School of Law in Newark in 1994. Her commitment to her studies and the influence of the minority student program were instrumental in her academic and later professional success. Her legal career began as a law clerk. In 1997, she served as an assistant federal public defender for the District of New Jersey. This is a role she maintained through 2006. During this time, she also contributed to the legal community through roles such as president of the Hispanic Bar Association of New Jersey and the Hispanic Bar Foundation of New Jersey. In 2006, Salas made history as the first Latina United States magistrate judge for the District of New Jersey, a position she held until 2011. Her nomination by President Barack Obama to a seat vacated by Catherine Sweeney Hayden on the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey further exemplified her professional growth and the trust placed in her judicial capabilities. The American Bar Association's Standing Committee on the Federal Judiciary rated Salas as well qualified, and she was confirmed by the Senate on June 14, 2011, making her the first Latina on the District Court of New Jersey. Judge Salas has presided over several notable cases. One high-profile case under her jurisdiction was the trial of Real Housewives of New Jersey, stars, Teresa and Joe Giudice, sentencing them for bank fraud in 2014. In her personal life, Judge Salas married Mark Anderl in 1993. Mark Anderl is a prominent attorney with extensive experience in state and federal criminal defense, focusing on juvenile delinquency and municipal court cases. He completed his education at Northeastern University and Brooklyn Law School, starting his law career in 1985. Anderl has a notable background as an assistant prosecutor in Essex County and is a partner at the criminal justice firm Anderl and A. M. Paul Oakley in New Jersey. He is recognized as a certified criminal trial attorney by the New Jersey Supreme Court and has conducted over 250 criminal jury trials. Anderl has been honored with several legal awards, including being named a New Jersey superlawyer and receiving the Middlesex County Bar Association Practitioner of the Year Award. In 2000, Salas and Anderl welcomed a son. At the time of this tragedy, Daniel Anderl was 20 years old. Daniel's vibrant personality was characterized by his endless zest for life, evident in his boundless energy, remarkable courage, and insatiable curiosity. These traits endeared him to his circle of friends. As a student at Catholic University, majoring in pre-law philosophy, Daniel's commitment to understanding justice and its role in society was unmistakable. His approach to his studies and life was marked by diligence and intelligence, driven by a desire to emulate the professional and personal standards set by his parents. As a federal judge, Salas was a public figure with a high degree of visibility, especially given the nature of the cases she handled. Such positions inherently come with risks, as the decisions made in court can have profound impacts on the lives and interests of those involved. Despite this, there were no public reports or indications of specific threats against Judge Salas or her family that were known to the wider community before the tragic events that transpired. The incident. The tragic attack at Judge Esther Salas's home on July 19, 2020 resulted in the death of her son, Daniel Anderl, and serious injury to her husband, Mark Anderl. Daniel, 20 years old, was the first to encounter the assailant, disguised as a FedEx delivery person, and was fatally shot. Mark Anderl, a criminal defense attorney, survived but sustained serious injuries. Judge Salas, in the basement at the time, was physically unharmed but deeply impacted by the event. Mark Anderl was shot in the right chest, left abdomen, and right forearm. Tragically, their son Daniel was hit by the initial bullet, an act that ultimately saved Mark's life. However, Mark's injuries were severe, necessitating over 13 surgeries and an extensive recovery period. He was initially listed in critical but stable condition at the Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Brunswick following the shooting. The road to recovery for Mark Anderl was fraught with medical challenges, but he has been making gradual progress in healing both physically and emotionally from the trauma and the loss he endured. Judge Salas, in an October 2020 interview with Good Morning America, recounted the aftermath of the shooting, finding Mark Anderl determinedly attempting to identify the assailant despite his injuries. She expressed that while Mark's physical recovery was ongoing, the emotional toll, especially from the loss of their son Daniel, was deeply impactful. Den Hollander, whose motives would later become a subject of extensive investigation and analysis, arrived at the home disguised as a FedEx delivery driver. This disguise was a calculated decision to gain proximity to the judge's home without arousing suspicion. His preparation for the attack indicates a level of premeditation and intent to harm. This disguise served two purposes. It allowed him to approach the judge's home without raising suspicion, and it gave him the element of surprise, which is often crucial in such attacks. The choice of disguise indicates that Hollander had likely studied the routines and surroundings of the Salas household. It suggests that he knew when and how to strike in a way that would allow him to get close to his targets without immediate detection. This level of planning implies that Hollander spent time observing the family's patterns and understanding their security measures, if any. The timeline after the attack. After the shooting, Den Hollander fled, leaving behind a scene of devastation. The immediacy of his departure was indicative of his intent to evade law enforcement and escape the consequences of his actions. This rapid departure added an additional layer of complexity to the subsequent law enforcement response. In response to the shooting, a comprehensive law enforcement operation was launched involving various agencies. This collaboration between local police and federal agencies signifies the seriousness of the crime and the urgency to apprehend the perpetrator. The involvement of multiple law enforcement entities is a common procedure in cases of this magnitude, especially when the crime involves a high-profile target or has broader implications for public safety. The days following the attack were crucial for the investigation. Law enforcement worked to gather evidence, piece together the sequence of events, and understand Den Hollander's motives. The legal changes. In response to these growing security concerns, the Daniel Anderl Judicial Security and Privacy Act of 2021 was enacted. Signed by President Joe Biden, this law mandates the removal of personal information about federal judges and their families from internet platforms upon request. The legislation is a move to protect the privacy of judges and reduce the likelihood of similar attacks. It addresses the need for judicial security while maintaining a balance with transparency and First Amendment rights. The law also allows for state and local governments to request grants for implementing or expanding privacy and security programs for the judiciary, although it initially only applies to federal judges and their families. The attack on Judge Salas and her family had far-reaching implications, sparking a nationwide dialogue on the safety of judicial figures. This tragedy brought to the forefront the vulnerabilities faced by judges and their families, leading to a public outcry for enhanced security measures. In the wake of this incident, Judge Salas became an outspoken advocate for judicial privacy and protection. Her calls for action were not just a response to her personal experience, but also a plea to safeguard her peers in the federal judiciary. Her public statements served as a catalyst for legislative change, underscoring the need for better security protocols to shield judges from similar threats. In response, legislative efforts were initiated to enhance the security of judges. One key focus was the removal of personal information from public records, a move aimed at reducing the risk of targeted attacks. This legislative push indicated a shift in how privacy and security for public figures, particularly judges, are approached. The incident also highlighted the delicate balance between transparency and security. As public servants, judges are expected to maintain a level of openness, but this transparency can make them vulnerable to threats. The attack on Judge Salas's family emphasized the need to reassess how this balance is maintained, ensuring that the safety of public figures is not compromised. The incident became a pivotal moment, shaping policies and perspectives on the protection of public figures in an increasingly complex and interconnected world. The tragedies that never happened. Among the most chilling discoveries in the investigation was a hit list found in Den Hollander's car. This list included the names of at least 3 other judges, including Chief Judge of New York, Janet DeFiore, who, like Judge Salas, had presided over one of Den Hollander's cases. An image of DeFiore, along with her name and address, was also found in the same vehicle. This discovery indicated that Den Hollander might have been planning to target several individuals, possibly for their roles in legal proceedings he had been involved in or for their professional positions, which he may have perceived as antithetical to his beliefs. Den Hollander's actions and the contents of the hit list pointed to a broader pattern of hatred and targeted animosity. His social media presence was rife with misogynistic rants, and his writings exhibited a deep-seated loathing for women, particularly those in positions of power, such as judges. This hatred seemed to be the driving force behind his planned and executed attacks. Roy Den Hollander's diagnosis of terminal melanoma in 2019 significantly influenced his mindset and actions leading up to the tragic events of 2020. His diagnosis was revealed to be metastasized cancer, causing him immense physical and psychological pain. This painful experience, combined with his long-standing ideological views, seemed to exacerbate his sentiments and motives. Hollander's extensive online writings, which span thousands of pages, reveal a deep-seated animosity towards women, particularly female judges. His views were explicitly sexist, racist, and misogynistic. In one of his documents, he directly disparaged Judge Esther Salas and outlined his belief in taking violent actions against those he perceived as responsible for destroying lives of men like him. This mindset, fueled by his cancer diagnosis and possibly a sense of impending mortality, may have driven him to seek what he saw as justice or retribution through violence against those on his hit list, including an unnamed doctor possibly linked to his cancer treatment. The tragic events of July 19, 2020, in North Brunswick serve as a stark reminder of the thin line between legal dissent and violent retribution. Roy Den Hollander's descent from a men's rights advocate embroiled in legal battles to a perpetrator of heinous violence against Judge Salas and her family illustrates a harrowing journey from the courtroom to an act of personal vengeance. This incident not only exposes the vulnerabilities in our judicial and personal security systems, but also raises profound questions about the intersections of ideology, justice, and extreme actions. As we reflect on this case, it becomes a cautionary tale of how deep-seated grievances can escalate into tragic outcomes, challenging our notions of justice, security, and the potential consequences of unchecked hatred and vendettas. Join the conversation. Drop a comment to share your thoughts and insights. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more captivating content. Thanks for tuning in to Really Unreal. Join us tomorrow as we delve into the story of Aubrey Lee Price, a man with a plan to vanish with millions in stolen money. How did he plan to get away with it? Tune in to find out. Stay curious, stay connected, stay with Really Unreal.